Tonight, the start all comes down to this. Welcome into penultimate round of the iconic Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. It's Mexico City, where the Apex MX-5 Sim Series heads on to take on the penultimate round of the championship. It's just it's very high above sea level here in Mexico City. Up in the mountains, the air is thin, very little oxygen for our Apex MX-5 Cup Series cars to work with. Drivers working on their qualifying efforts just now. This is going to be a fun race tonight. This is fun championship penultimate battle. I know you might be saying, well, what happened last week? I thought it was penultimate action. Well, we added another race to the season championship. Now, next Wednesday, clear your schedules, ladies and gentlemen. I believe from the new Scan Shack out at St. Petersburg. Take a look at some point standings coming into penultimate round action. Brendan Birch, Slater Colby, Stone Colby, 1, 2, 3. And look at just how tight the point battles are. Don't count out driver like Nico Colby as well, sitting 4th. Josh Hunter 5th. Michael Tenegretta, nice season thus far. It's starting to all come down here to this. Michael, he sits P6. Lucas Barnett with his 2 wins on the race season. He sits P7. Joe Rainey, nice season thus far. He sits P8 in the points. Daniel Ramirez and Connor T. Cunningham rounding out our top 10. Now this 45-minute showdown is going to demand everything. I'm talking patience through these technical sections, bravery into heavy braking zones, and precision on each and every single exit of the corners to carry that speed down our 0.75 mile straightaway. Take a look at that race information. There you can see it's a 2.35 mile track. We're working with 10 turns per lap. As I mentioned, that real tight technical section, as is that very long straightaway. You're going to want to nail turn 10 to get that nice setup and working out there for it. 68 degrees Fahrenheit temperatures. It could be a better day for racing. Partly cloudy skies up above us. 2 mile per hour winds shoving us down and into turns 1, 2, and 3. As I mentioned also before, sitting at an altitude of well over 7,000 feet, 7,349 to be exact. Not as much oxygen that these MX-5 Cup engines are used to working with, sitting back at relative around sea level. For most of the schedule. This is going to be interesting to see how that plays into a factor tonight, as well as how that plays into a factor of that draft going down along that 0.75 mile straightaway. All right, so race information. Penultimate round. Also, don't forget that competition caution looming around halfway. It's going to shake and bake things up. Strategy is going to flip on its heads. The gaps will be reset, as well as the nerves will be tested over and over again. Real quick, appreciate those sponsors and affiliates up there in the top right side of your screen. I'm talking Mittens Liveries. Make sure you hit up Mitch Crafter out of Discord if you're looking for any iRacing paint jobs, as well as OverstockVehicles.com, VehicleBuyers.com. Looking to sell a used vehicle, that's the place to do it. As well as Stam Studio Network Racing Broadcast. Appreciate each and every single one of you joining in here tonight, joining in on YouTube land. Got that live chat rock and rolling. We already got Mobile Ninja Moonlight Dancer joining in, as well as Logan Stanley. Terry Stam joins in as well. Logan Stanley rooting on Brandon Birch, the driver with the points standings lead coming into the race. Brandon Birch looks to go back-to-back after taking away the race win from Watkins Glen last Wednesday, last race. He beat Jeremy Fletcher, Mazda MX-5 champion, to the line. Victor Ling ran P3, Darren Colby and Josh Hunter ran that top 5. Taking a look at our starting grid tonight, brought to you by OverstockVehicles.com. It'll be Brendan Birch, Nico Colby, Joseph Rainey, Josh Ferret, Slater Colby, Stone Colby, Joe Rainey, Marvin Samayoa, fast in practice. Marvin, not that qualifying effort he was looking for. He'll start P8. Michael Tenegretta, he'll start P9. Victor Ling, Daniel Ramirez, David Ramirez. Ramirez bros were also fast in practice as well. Darren Colby, he'll start P13. Thomas Dively, Jason Holcomb, and Diego Valderrama starting P16. That is our 16 driver grid. Ladies and gentlemen, no pace lap tonight. It is just going to be a quick get up and go. Who's going to have the get up and go? Brendan Birch, our pole sitter. Nico Colby, P2. Joey Rainey, P3. Josh Ferrier, P4. We are just a few minutes away from green flag racing. Should see those start lights go out here in just a few moments' time. Let us know who you are rooting on down there in YouTube land below. Colby Brothers rounding out that fourth row back. Slater, Stone, Joe Rainey starts to there right behind them. Marvin Samayo, he runs P8. Michael Tenegretta and Victor Ling. Some very fast drivers, especially within practice as well. Not the qualifying that they were looking for. Waiting on one more driver to grid, and then we will get these lights out here and get ready to go. Matter of fact, here we go, go, go. It's 1, it's 2, it's 3, 4, and 5. Lights are out, and away we head into the tough technical. 1, 2, 3. It's Brendan Birch who clears him for the race lead. Right there, you can already see these drivers looking to get that drafting work going, even just within a short shoot going into turn 1. I say short shoot. This is a long straightaway we're working with. This Apex MX-5 Cup Series penultimate round is underway. This next week, we're heading to St. Petersburg for the championship battle, but we're going to start to run a little bit of side-by-side. On our side, it's 2 wide for 2 rows back, and then we'll send it back into 1 row back, and the race leader spins it. Brendan Birch spins off of the 3D rendered rumble strips. He's going to take Nico Colby out there, as well as Daniel Ramirez also caught up in that. That's going to allow Joey Rainey to make himself clear to the race lead. I don't think that there was any contact out there for him. Looks like Joey Rainey's going to give Josh Ferrier the point by there, as it looks like Josh Ferrier has a slowdown penalty, as does Victor Ling. Victor Ling and Josh Ferrier taking a abrasive, different way around the racetrack. They cut the racetrack and now have to serve that time all backing up to him. Now that presents the lead back to Joey Rainey. Josh Ferrier to P2. Stone Colby now works P3. What a crazy start to this race. Now Marvin Samayo is going to have slow down penalty after he runs wide going into the corner. That drops Samayoa back and into P4 as he still has that time to give back. David Ramirez, and then here comes Joe Rainey looking to join this battle. Joe's going to try to slide it down the inside, wash up down there on corner exit of turn number 10. That will complete lap number 1, but this battle continues to rage on. Look at Victor Ling. He's fallen back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 9th position for Victor Ling. Still a little bit aside on his side with David Ramirez. Don't look now, but Marvin Samayoa, even after serving that penalty, still clear up to P4. Also, don't look now, but Stone Colby from 5 spots back. Started P6. He's getting a nice push, a nice shove, looking to make a little shake and bake happen out there into 1. His time's turn 2. Here's the corner that Brendan Birch lost it up on. Will continue to run. This time all clean through it, except Josh Ferrier looks like he's going to get a slow down after trying to cut that curb there just a little bit too much. Look at all the yellow flags up there in timing and scorings. That is how many drivers had just cut it last time by. As we continue to work our way down and through the sectors here, here's a real quick look and see what happened to Brendan Birch on the start of this race. That yellow and black vehiclebuyers.com machine right now clear for the race lead. Was there contact out there back and behind him from Nico Colby? If there wasn't, there looked like Brendan Birch and Nico went for a same bit of spin up there, and then Nico corrects it back and onto the line. Let's take a kind of a Stam Studio Network drone camera shots here, and this is going into the same corner. Is that no contact here just yet? Brendan Birch going to use that right side suspension go to work, and well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to look like a tiny bit of contact-a-reno. Looks like Brendan Birch gets a little bit of a punterino from Nico Colby, and then Nico, I think he tried to save it to the left, and it shoots it right back to the right. It goes back to the race lead. Have not missed a thing. Well, we have missed Joey Rainey, who solidifies that battle up here back and into it as we take okay, that's a nice looking Stone Colby's front engine bay. You can start to see that. Stone, you might need an oil change here after this one, after taking a look at what I just saw. Man, oh man, though, that engine continues to purr. Stone Colby up and into P2. He led that, or got up and into the lead that first lap by. Here comes lap 3. We're going to start to work our way a little bit of a short shoot of a way back and into kind of tight hairpin corner. I believe this is a 6, then 7, 8, and 9. Pretty exciting start there to the race out there for Brandon Birch. He'll fall back into P9. P8 as now continue to see that battle for the race lead. Heat up and ensue. Joey Rainey, Stone Colby. Don't count out Josh Ferry just yet as we hop on board here with him now. Oh, careful Stone on that grass, as well as all Stone Colby's trying to do right there is cut that corner as tight as he can to set up the entrance into the next one. As you can see, that really allowed that Mazda MX-5 Cup car to get straight and up off that racing line. Here we're gonna go out of turn 10 for another long-handing right-hander. Just never seems to end. This battle for the race lead never seems to end here as well, as we hop on board with our race leader, Joey Rainey. I saw Joey Rainey was out there saying on the Discord chat that this should present to a real fun race for our penultimate round. So far, I think Joey Rainey's been right there on the money. Joey Rainey, fastest lap of the race there as well, running with that 1:34.10. Matter of fact, here comes Stone Colby all there over that back bumper. Stone has his fishing rod out, and he's reeling onto something. I think he's reeling in Joey Rainey for the race lead, using that slipstream, using that draft of about that 3/4 mile straightaway here for Mexico City. Got to remember, though, it's high altitude, less oxygen for the engines, as well as air available for these. I'm going to say, you just talk about downforce of these Mazda MX-5 Cup cars. Say, what are you talking about, commentator? Well, trust me out here. Hang on with them. This kind of the big draft, the big suck that we would continue to see out there from about sea level, if not a few hundred feet, if not maybe 1,000, if at max that. We have really yet to see the slipstream of draft come into play, even with as close as Stone Colby and Josh Ferry are able to get within that long straightaway. Don't get me wrong, it has come into play. It does help the lap times, but not necessarily as much as we've seen throughout other tracks on the season. Back here on board, we're going to hop on board with our driver eye camera. It's Stone Colby. Joey Rainey continuing to run to a T the race line out there. Actually, he's gonna short the pit entrance line out there, the exit out there off of turn 10 as we continue to. Well, now Stone Colby's all over that rear bumper, about less than 1/10 of a second back. And Stone, careful, don't get that oil temp, don't get that water temp too high. No, I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, though, we will continue to see Stone give the push, give the shove to Joey Rainey's rear bumper as Josh Ferrer, Joe Rainey continue to run third and fourth. Slater Colby works his way up into the P5 as Josh Ferrer gets a slowdown penalty. Darren Colby, the father of the triple Colby action that we've continued to see race after race after race. They're going to try to make it happen here tonight, but it's going to be tough after Nico Colby falls back into P9, following suit and after contact with our pole sitter going into turn 1 to start the race. Yeah, let's hear it out there for Darren Colby. If you focus your attention out there, the timing and scoring's tower, Darren is shown. I believe that is 7 spots gained to the drop of the green flag. And I mean, driver, most amount of positions gained as quite by a very healthy margin. Diego Valderrama, he also started, I believe, P16. Diego works it now up to, that is 11th position. So biggest movers as well as Stone up there, 4 spots gained. Don't count out this battle out here between our fastest drivers within qualifying, 15-minute open qualifying session that is. Brandon Birch, Nico Colby going at it right now for 8th and 9th. Look at how tight and tucked up that Nico Colby is back in behind Brandon Birch. And I mean, that was obviously no egregious action there to start the race. I think it's just, that's how tight things are going to get there in a relatively quick fashion, especially Mazda MX-5 Cup racing action. You're going to see some beating, you're going to see some banging. It was just unfortunately a little bit of beating, a little bit of banging at the the worst portion that you could have kind of dialed it up there too. That kind of left rear quarter panel on that bumper. Looks like Brendan Birch, Nico Colby. It almost looked like they kind of cut that big old sausage curve or 3D rendered rumble strip, if you will, up there. Looks like their yellow flags, their time to give back flags will clear as we now join this battle back and forth, the race lead. So not only do we join this battle for the race lead, but it's also third, fourth. Don't look now, but here's Slater Colby works his way up and into fifth position. He's bringing his dad right and up there with him, up and into P6. Now Darren Colby is coming off with a nice run up there. Watkins Glen, Darren Colby came away with that P4 finish. It was almost P3, so close to it. Darren, he's right now, these kind of higher speed tracks, we continue to see Darren Colby, that number 47, VehicleBuyers.com machine really start to come to life. He's going to bring Marvin Samayoa right up there with him. Marvin, what happened to him on that race start was he ultimately missed the first couple of wrecks that had happened, but then just kind of shortcutted one of the corners out there and had to give all back the time. He fell back to P4 and then now falls back to about P7 as Josh Fair, Joe Rainey, Slater Colby continue to work their way further and further up into the race back. Mentioning that incident with Marvin Samayoa, I believe I have it queued up in replay lands, but we're going to have to say it again. Hang on there just a second. Only 10.5 minutes down, and battle's still continuing to rage on there with less than, well, this time 0.2 of a second. Marvin Samayoa kind of slingshots his way back and around Darren Colby after Darren got a little bit loose as a goose out there on corner exit and allowed that number 44 of Samayoa to continue to carry that speed, carry that momentum, rocking, rolling. Samayoa continue to work his way up and into almost that top 5 position. Joey Rainey, Stone Colby, and Josh Fair continue to run closer and to one another. Real quick, here's a quick look at seeing if you're Marvin out here, do you have any choice out there as Nico is right up in front of your race line? Your car is, you cannot you cannot get that thing turned here just quick enough. And I think Marvin's doing just the right move out there. He's going to take just a quick little slow down penalty, but he's going to live to fight another lap, 2, 3, 4. At this time, 11 and a half minutes down into the race. If you're just now joining in, well, first of all, thank you for joining in out there on STAM Studio Network. You're watching this penultimate round of this Apex MX-5 Cup Series coming at you live. My name's Sean Stam, producing, directing, commentate the show. These drivers continue to put on a show lap after lap after lap. We're looking back off that rear bumper of Josh Fair, who runs in that final driver interview position, which is P3. Here comes Joe Rainey talking about the slipstream draft not being all that much. Well, they're going to show it all that much out there. Joe almost tries to look down the inside. Joe Rainey, what was that, 2 weeks ago, coming in with that, was it the race win? I believe it was. It was a photo finish, a drag race to the line. Joe Rainey able to get it done. That Rainey Homes Racing Mazda MX-5 Cup car. Joe, it's pretty special. We've seen him take that Maz out here into the World Center of Racing out at Daytona Beach. Got to see, oh man, the SSN vinyl sticker out there in that rear bumper, or not rear bumper, rear deck lid as well start to go to work. And as well as Joey Rainey, we saw the same thing out there, that we saw those cats out there go back and forth, a little bit of shake and bake for the two Rainies out there, race 1, race 2. And right now we're seeing a lot of real-life racing drivers back out here within sim racing world. Talk about Stone Colby, real-life driver out there within one of the most prestigious, if not the most prestigious racetrack out at Maricopa. Fucking Apex Motor Club out there. Stone Colby up there into P2. Joe Rainey also. Joey Rainey parts members of Apex as well. Slater Colby continues to run P5. Nico Colby still continues to run P7. He is just waiting for that competition caution after still not really able to work his way even further up and throughout that pack. Don't get me wrong, I believe they were running about 8th and 9th earlier, now down to up and about 7th after now passing his dad, Darren Colby, to P8. Brendan Birch still sits P9 though. That was interesting, that last camera shot by. I mean, you could really hear him start to get in and up and off of the chip. Now, I'm talking that rev limiter. I think that alludes to these drivers just really starting to push and shove harder into these corners. I mean, I'm talking tires into the air. We're going to start to wave him as we just don't care. Brandon Birch, nice pass out there down and around Darren Colby. He's clear up into the P8. We got Juan joining in YouTube land saying, go Diego, go. Moonlight Dancer saying, defense moves activate. It's the defense. Defense, and as Juan was saying, go Diego. Let's check in on the old Diego Valderrama. Last time we checked in on him, he was running at about, I thought it was I think it still was P12. He started P16 though. Diego, another driver with quite a bit of pace. He didn't quite get the qualifying effort that he was looking for, but now after working his way, 4 spots gained since the drop of the green flag. Now 4/10 of a second back and behind Thomas Dively's rear bumper. He's going to try to get one more spot before that competition caution in about 5, if not 5, about 7 minutes time. Continuing to hang on board here with this battle. Let's see how close this gap closes up between Thomas Dively as well as Diego and that number 94. We're running at about 5/10 of a second. Yeah, even this close to one another. This is what I was referencing earlier. It's still, I mean, there's no gain right now for Diego over Thomas Dively's. I mean, don't get me wrong, these are Mazda MX-5 Cup cars, relatively small, but they poke a relatively huge hole in the air. And there you see, Diego's going to close that gap within the braking zone out there with one of our hardest braking zones of the track, but then loses it all right back there on corner exit. So Joey Rainey right now, he's continuing to lead lap after lap after lap. Right now, I believe it's every single lap led of the race after just briefly losing the race lead to Stone Colby up and earlier on. Joey Rainey, 1/10 of a second gap as we hop by on board here with him. It's the smiling front bumper of the VehicleBuyers.com machine of Stone Colby. Can he do what they say can't be done? And that is pass a very, very fast Joey Rainey. Don't get me wrong, Stone Colby with so much speed, so much pace. Right now, so much momentum heading up and down. Just right now, halfway down our start-finish stretch. This is into our first chicane. It's turn 1, 2, 3, and about 2/10 of a mile time. Here we go. Stone Colby's now clear. He's going to try and close off Joey Rainey's ride. No, he's not. Stone Colby's actually going to leave that door open for Joey Rainey to come out back there and take the race lead right back down and around. Joey says, thank you very much. Stone says, I'm going to let you have it. Josh Ferry has his popcorn buck out right now as he continues to sit P3. Including Joe Rainey as well. Now continues sitting P4, 4/10 of a second back, watching all of this battling go up and in right in front of their front nose. Heading back, and I believe I don't think I have the stadium section turned on, but I think this is out there in through it. It looks so much different without the stadium or the stadium section out here, as well as Mexico City. I know it's pretty special for the Colby fam. They what was that, the wedding trip out there, as I believe it was for the boys out there as well as the fam. So I know how special this would be for a driver like Stone Colby to find his way down in victory lane at Mexico City. Just don't drink the water, Stone. As he continues to fight for his right to party for that final, before that race lead position. Josh Ferrer holding off that final driver interview spot over Joe Rainey. It's 17:38 down. Should be working in about 2 to 3 more minutes so that competition yellow. Here comes Joey Rainey. The house is a-rockin'. Don't bother knocking. Just come on in here. This time it's Stone now. He's going to look down to the inside. Joey's going to lose the race lead. It's deja vu. We just saw this happen. We're going to try to look almost 3 wide as Josh Ferrer sends it down to the inside from the next county over. Contact out there with Joey Rainey. He's going to start to spin the number 21, but instead Stone Colby is caught up in it. There goes Slater Colby. There goes Nico, Brendan, Marvin Samayoa. There goes Darren Colby down and around. Stone Colby goes around time. Here's a quick look at this race replay as it was 3 wide going into the corner. Yeah, we're just starting to run out of room out there. Unfortunately, Stone Colby gets the worst of it after pretty heavy contact out there with Joey Rainey as well as Josh Ferrier there. Take a look at this this bird's eye camera shot at this. I mean, you can't fault Josh for going for this move. As a matter of fact, it's a slingshot out there. He had so much speed, so much momentum. I think he was actually a little bit too late and into the corner. There's the first set of contact, and then here's the second. Pretty heavy contact out there with Joey. Stone Colby sees this all happening. He tries to make that move for the lead out there on the outside. Doesn't make it happen. Joe Rainey is now clear to the race lead. 6 spots gained as he rounds turn 10, and the competition caution flag is thrown. It's going to show Josh Fair out there to the race lead, but nope, they're going to give it right back and into Joe Rainey. It's Rainey Holmes racing to the point. My goodness gracious, what a ending lap of this race. We're going to get them re-racked, restacked. Take a couple race replays of this here as well. So here's that was the second bit of contact. There's Stone trying to make his way down and around it. And I think a driver who would be pretty fun to hop on board here with it, unless you're Stone Colby as the driver or a fan here of him. Ashley, cover your eyeballs out here. Okay, here we're hopping on board here with Stone. He's right now looking all good. And then here's going to be, I'm going to fast forward here. Here's going to be the first bit of this contact up there and in front of him. There's the second bit. I'm going to try to make it around, and then it just sends it around there for the 52. Things happen fast out there. This Mazda MX-5 Cup Car Series battles for the race lead, battles for the win. These drivers, that is especially for Stone Colby, who's caught up here in this one, this has some pretty big playoff championship implication out there with them. If you're just now joining us, here's a look at our point standings coming into the race. Brendan Birch, Slater, and Stone are in our penultimate round with only one race to go next week at St. Petersburg. The streets of them too, so another street course out there. Nico Colby runs P4 after spinning contact with Brendan Birch. Opening lap of the race, looks like Nico Colby will run P5 now on this race restart. Nico's running 4th in the point standings. Josh Hunter, Michael Tenegretta, Lucas Barnett, Joe Rainey, Daniel Ramirez, and Connor T. Cunningham. As we do have quite a little bit of a ways to go until we lift this competition yellow. Let's go through the field here real quick. We just saw Joe Rainey come out and take away the race lead coming to that competition caution. He's running back in mind that newer BMW iRacing safety pace car, and it's Josh Fair right there behind him. Josh started P4, I believe it was, currently running P2. Number 21, we saw that move down to the inside. You can't fault him for it. He had that run and a half, had the speed, had the momentum, but maybe they're just a little bit too much that he was expecting it, a little bit too deep into the brake zone and a little bit of contact on his side. Joey Rainey, he's going to know that necessarily wasn't intentional, but will he race Josh Fair just a little bit harder after that, or will we see these drivers be cool, calm, and collected? Joey Rainey falls back to where he started this race, and that's that final driver interview spot in P number 3. Slater Colby, after kind of running in the kind of captaincy of that second pack back, now that we do have them scrunched, bunched all back up together. That's all I got. Slater Colby, this is not all he's got. He's worked his way up into the P4. Nico Colby, little bro. Nico Colby's going to restart here in P5. Brendan Birch P5, Nico Colby P6. It's the Marvin Tater. Marvin does some commentating work out there with me back and behind the scenes sometime. Marvin Samayoa up there finally back on the racetrack after missing out there, the last month, if not 2. Nice to see Samayoa back and out there racing with us. It's Stone Colby after spinning, contact, we'll call it. Pretty heavy contact, if you will. Stone Colby, we have seen this from quite a few of the Colby brothers, as well as Colby father. They'll even if it isn't their fault or doing, they will fall back out here about 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. But continue to keep an eye on this cat tonight. We'll see Stone claw his way up and back through the pack. Michael Tenegretta will race and restart here P10. Victor Ling, Apex Motor Club, VL number 24, neon green. Little honeycomb photo finish up there on that hood. If we get trying to get a good camera shot. Yeah, there's a good camera shot. A little blue out there as well. That's a Stam Studio Network Racing broadcast sticker up there on the front bumper as well as rear bumper. Victor, we appreciate you and best of luck here throughout the rest of this race as well as the season. Michael Tenegretta, Diego Valderrama, as well as Thomas Dively and Jason Holcomb rounding out the top 14. It's going to be Daniel Ramirez and David Ramirez rounding out 15th and 16th. You see that iRacing safety pace car diving into the safety of pit lane here in just a few moments' time. It's time for the second half of penultimate racing action. This Apex MX-5 Cup Series action live on Stam Studio Network. I'm Sean Stam, producing, directing, commentating the show, and hey, these drivers continue to put on. What a show it's been. Battles for the race lead. We've seen 2. We've seen 3 wide going into the corners. Going back in what we saw from the drop and into the green flag, we saw 2 wide, 2 rows back. Matter of fact, here's just a quick race replay of that drop of the green flag. Now keep in mind this was a standing start to the race, but still it's I think right now, crystal ball, we're looking into the future of what we could see going into this first 1, 2, 3 chicane. Look at the pushes, look at the shoves out there for, I believe that's Brendan Birch and Nico Colby all over that rear bumper. Here we're going to look down there going into turn 1. And it's definitely close quarter combat, and after turn 1, it is close quarter combat after contact between Nico and Brendan. Ultimately spinning Brendan Birch as we get this green flag thrown for the second half of the race. Ladies and gentlemen, get up, stand up for your life. Don't you ever give up the fight. Joe Rennie's not giving up the fight here just yet as he's going to play some nice defense. We're going to fan him out going into turn 1. It's going to be 2. It's going to look 3. Here comes the defense from Joe Rennie up and in front of Joey Rennie, his son. It looks like Nico Colby's going to get sent wide going into the corner. We're going to start to look 2 and 3 wide back there. We'll settle things back to 2. Careful here, boys. Oh, Slater Colby, clears. Was that Slater Colby clearing Nico Colby down and off the corner by a millimeter there. Nice race restart here for the pack. 20 minutes left to go. Oh, the Sean and Tater curse is going to strike for Thomas Dively, as well as Jason Holcomb is involved as well. As soon as I mentioned that nice race restart, man, 2 to 3 drivers involved. Back up here to the front, though, Rainey, and then Stone Colby. Josh Fair, he's going to fall back down into P4. That's where he started, but don't count him out here just yet. Matter of fact, hopping back on board here with Josh. You're going to see there is no slipstream here, even at this range. At half of a second back, Josh, he has no help within the slipstream up there in front or even help there in behind him as far as pushers or shovers go. As far as pushing and shoves go, here comes Stone Colby all over Joe Rainey's rear bumper. Stone Colby, a driver who we continue to see push and shove all over these rear bumpers within the first half of this race. We start to see it within the starting second half of this race. There you see that slipstream performance, front rear deck lid. Got a little SSN out there, bumper on it as well for Joey Rainey. He's going to use that extra +5 horsepower out there to continue to push Joe Rainey's rear bumper. It's a single file snake this time going down in turn 1. They're going to snake it, they're going to rake it, they're going to bake it. Right side's almost lifted off the racetrack. It's suspension, going to work, going to town. Joe Rainey's going to town after he continues to lead lap after lap after lap. We saw the nice nice practice speeds out there for Joe, not the qualifying effort. He started P7. He's worked his way now up into P1. Stone Colby, Josh Fair, Slater Colby. Remember Slater Colby after that race restart, he was just barely clear up and in front of his younger brother Nico. My goodness, younger brother Nico is suddenly a tongue twister out there as Slater Colby not trying to twist up his lines and not trying to burn up too much of these. That's just something I'm going to have to ask out there. Those final driver interview positions is what was the tire wear like out here? We saw the racing conditions were relatively nice and clean for racing, but as the track continues to take to the grip, continues to take to the rubber. It's going to continue to lose some of that grip as it continues to build that rubber and track temp as well. 1, 2, 3. 0.2 of a second back is P4. 0.5 of a second, also 0.5 of a second back is still 6th, separating 7th, Nico Colby and Marvin Samayoa. You can already start to feel right now the intensity is starting to build. It's starting to heat up and build through the roof. As you see, Joey Rainey is going to start to, it almost looked like he made kind of a second decision right there. It almost looked like he didn't even want to make that move for the race lead, but then around he slotted it by. Not going to be clear for the race lead as that really ends up screwing Josh Ferrier. Josh is going to start to look 3 wide for the second to third time tonight. He's going to be the outside bread of that Colby sandwich. Is this 3? Is this 4? Here comes Josh. It's still 3 wide. Josh is the meat of it right there. Is now Slater Colby has to break a little bit early as we'll make our way down and across that right-hand hairpin. It's now Nico Colby, Brendan Birch clear for P4, P5. Josh has to hang on to that thing. As he does hang on to it, Slater Colby has contact with him. What a save out there for Josh Ferrier. He was slideways going through the corner. Contact with Slater. I think Slater ultimately had no choice out there. Josh started to get loose, and then Slater was already, well, there. Here comes Darren Colby, Victor Ling, Michael Greta. 15 minutes left to go in this race, and battles are as tight as they have been since the drop of the green flag. Samayoa trying to hang out in there with him as well, and that's for that 9th position. Hopping on board here with Marvin. My goodness gracious, that was close out there with Darren Colby. Friends off the racetrack, frenemies on the racetrack. Colby. That's Slater and Darren running 7th and 8th. Marvin Samayoa now runs. Oh my goodness gracious, what just happened to Josh Ferrier? Have you ever? I mean, I have ever, but that difference of pace, my God, what happened? That's a little bit late there to it. Let's try this out there. You're gonna see Slater Colby make the move. Okay, well there they start to bang. That's the nice look at the 3 wide battle going into the corner, and then ultimately Slater Colby keeping on that 25. Here he comes back around the inside line. I think Josh ultimately has contact out there with Brendan Birch, and then here's the contact between those two. What happens here on the straight, or okay, this is going back within the corner. One more race replay it here, and then I would really love to, yeah, here it is going off and off the straightaway. You can see just the speed differential out there. The whole pack makes their way back and by Josh Ferrier. I think it almost looks like, I don't know how you miss a gear within a sequential gearbox, but I mean, that's really exactly what it looks like out there. A huge loss of that speed momentum. Back now to the race lead. Joe Rainey, Stone. 1, 2, 3. Nico Colby after falling back to about 9th to 10th position. Nico Colby 4th within the point standings, finishing 8th from Watkins Glen 1 week ago. He's still trying to make something happen out here as they start to run a little bit of side by side. It's not even only side by side. Come on now, it's door to door, 2 rows back. It's going to be vehicle buyers versus Rainey Homes Racing. That inside line looks like will prevail for that number 52 of Stone Colby. Stone Colby, he has been knocking all over the rear bumper as well as on this race season for that another win. Stone Colby ultimately kind of screwed him that time by though, as he was clear for a brief moment's time. And Joey Rainey drops back to P2, and now Nico Colby, you blink and you miss it, to the race lead. Stone Colby trying to do everything that he can back and around that inside line as younger brother Nico back clear to the point. Joe Rainey now falls back in between 2 and 4. So now that they start to run single file here just a little bit more, one more look at this pass for the race lead. Look at Nico Colby. All he's going to catch is Stone and Joey starting to go at it there. Contact with older brother Stone. And Nico says, well, thank y'all very much for going side by side. That opens up the door for me, but not by much as we cut it back into live racing action. Only opens up the door by 1/10 of a second. Coming by this time, 12 minutes left to go in the race. Hopping on board with Nico Colby's rear bumper. coming out of turn number 10. Here's the run for Joey. He's not going to do anything with it, though. He's going to beat. He's going to bang. Use that. The stock car race. It's NASCAR time, boys and girls. Here we go. Bump drafted into 1 and 2 and 1, 2, and 3. Joey Rainey all over that rear bumper as here comes Stone and Joe Rainey starting to peek out of line. We're going to run side by side, but this time we're going to tango with teammates. It was Vehicle Byers and Rainey Holmes Racing running inside and outside. Here's going to see Nico Colby start to stretch his legs for the race lead as Stone Colby starts to stretch his legs out and up for P2. What a move that was. We traded dancing partners from the last lap by, and it ultimately this time helped out Nico and Stone as it drops back Joey Rainey and Joe back to 3 and 4. Brandon Birch, remember Brandon Birch, our pole sitter on the night, the driver who has had so much speed, so much consistency. That's our points leader. This could have huge championship implications depending on where Brendan Birch finishes, especially looking at where Nico Stone and Slater right now running P6. This is not what you want to see if you're Brandon Birch or a Brandon Birch fan. After Slater comes into the race second in the points, Stone P3 in the points, Nico P4. This has huge implications right now if Brandon Birch is not able to work his way back up and into this battle for possible 1, 2, and in 3. It's talking about that consistency and the immaculate season that it's been for Brandon Birch out there, continuing to run within the point standings lead. Penultimate round, could it all come down to this? Winning Watkins Glen, another win on Brandon Birch's race season last race weekend. So 10 minutes to go and start to keep an eye on this battle for the race lead once again. Whoa, Joey Rainey, hang on to it out there as his rear tires are almost lifted off the racetrack as he has help from Dad. Here comes Joe Rainey starting to look down the inside. Not quite clear just of it yet, as now 3 drivers showing a slowdown penalty. Looks like they're all going to clear him out there. Stone Colby, he got way loose. Matter of fact, he's going to drop it now down and into 5th position. Joe Rainey works himself up and into P4. Now, as I was starting to mention, though, as these battles start to get tight and tighter out there for P1 and P2, look for this to start to bring in this battle from in between 5th, 6th, 7th, even that 7th position on back until about Victor Ling, about 6.8 seconds back and into that position for P8. We're getting down here into the nitty, into the gritty, before elbows fly. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the penultimate round. Crank it up here from Mexico City to hop on board Joey Rainey's rear bumper. Be right back up here with you in the booth. Crank this puppy back down here. Joey Rainey to the race lead. Nico Colby to P2 and Joe Rainey to P3. Joey Rainey doing everything he can to continue to hold off that hard-charging Nico Colby. Nico Colby backing up to P2. Can he do what they say can't be done? And that's clear. Joey Rainey to the race lead. You got to imagine that these drivers are all on a Discord call right now. They continue to have a real good time out there on the track, putting on a show out here for us on Stam Studio Network, but as well as there's probably a little bit of trash talking going on out there between Joey and Nico, possibly with a little bit of contact on off of Nico Colby's front bumper out there to the start of the race. Now, Brendan Birch, I wonder if he's starting to think about that as well, as he's starting to see Nico Colby grow ever so larger out of his front windscreen. Brendan Birch, we're hopping on board here with him now, as he has a huge speed, He has a huge run of momentum as Stone Colby gives him a nice shot down the back. Pause. Nice run for Brendan. He is deep into the corner, carries so much speed out there. They were almost looking 3 abreast going into the corner, settles it back down to 2. Oh, this time Brendan Birch, contact with Joe Rainey. Joe Rainey, the Rainey Homes Racing 17 machine, down and around his top 3 driver interview position. Hopes are down and around and in the dirt right now as Joe Rainey falls back to P7, as now Joey Rainey's going to have to battle for this race lead without a teammate. This is big for Nico Colby as he has a teammate out there for Brendan Birch. Brendan now up to P3, also big within those point standings as well, but don't count out Nico Colby just yet. He could rocket himself up within the top 3 point standing as my math is mathin'. If he gets around Joey Rainey up here, you're gonna hop on board with Nico Colby, stalking and hunting that rear bumper of Joey down. Really make a move going into 9 and 10. Nope, not going to be close enough to make it happen. Only 5.5 minutes left to go within this race. Battles are still tight. 0.2 of a second, 1 and 2. 0.3 of a second, Stone and Darren Colby. How about Darren works his way up into P5, triple Colby action. Really quick before we get into the final few minutes of this race, here's a quick look and see what happened between Brendan Birch and Joe Rainey going into the corner. Man, the door, it looks kind of open out there for Brendan, but Brendan was also so deep into the corner out there, I don't think he could have tried to get that car to carry the rotation that he was necessarily asking for it out there. Joe Rainey inside, Brendan Birch outside. Here you go. Oh, man. Brendan Birch, I think, just trying to open that corner right back up, and unfortunately not quite clear for Joe. Back to Joe's son. It's Joey Rainey. 4.5 minutes left. Penultimate round, Mexico City. Here comes Nico Colby, still all over that back bumper. He is just breathing over it, but he's still not close enough to make anything happen. Look at these racing lines, these the differences in racing lines out there between race leader, who's starting to play a little bit more defense. Defense over Nico Colby. Here comes Nico Colby, a little bit more offense played as he has a run. Look at the speed, look at the momentum. Doesn't do anything with it though. Here we go, back and through the last turn on the racetrack. This time, oh, I'm gonna speak a little bit too soon. Nico Colby, here he comes. Door, quarter, not. There he goes, Nico Colby. He is clear. Slater's gonna love that one. That's look at Nico wash up and in front of Joey Rainey's front bumper. Down and around, final turn on the racetrack. We're starting to come down here to the final few minutes to go. Nice battles out there between Stone, Slater, Darren Colby out there trying to make this triple Colby action work within 4th, 5th, 6th, as he is in a tight battle out there with one of his sons. All they need to do is just continue to, they can trade some final rap as long as you just don't bump and thump and jump one another just too hard. Joey Rainey looks like he's going to clear himself back out to the lead over Nico Colby, this time by only, what are we working? About 3 more minutes left to go with lap times in the 1 minute 30-second range. We could be working about the 2 to 3 lap to go margin. It's side by side for the race lead throughout this whole racing season. It's been side by side. It has been tight battles. It's been tight point battles, and it quite frankly almost comes all down here to this. This has a huge impact out there, what it all comes down to from next week at the streets of St. Petersburg. Nico Colby now back clear to the lead. Joey Rainey 1/10 back. Yeah, the shaking and baking, it's all gone out the window here, I think, at this point. These drivers have flipped the switch, and you can see it is go time for both of them. Nico Colby washes it a little bit out, Joey Rainey washes it a little bit out there on corner exit there just a little bit. Hopping on board here with Joey Rainey, the neon green, the neon yellow roll cage. Nice work, nice looks out there for Joey Rainey as it looks like this will be the 2 lap to go mark out here. So 20 more turns. It's going to be about 5 more miles if my math is mathed. Nico Colby, he's continuing to make this work, but if we go to that Stam Studio Network drone camera shot, it's now going to be 3 wide into the corner. Look at how wide Brendan Birch is able to send it down the inside, and look at how wide Nico Colby went to that outside line. Nico, at that one, almost looked like a point by there with the, I mean, Brendan Birch and Joey Rainey. I am almost speechless right now with how wide and how open that Nico Colby left this corner open. I think Nico Colby's got a little bit something left up the sleeve possibly, although now sitting more than 1/2 of a second back for Nico Colby. Can he make a little bit of slipstream, and can he make any draft work happen out there as Brendan Birch, points standings leader, race winner from last weekend. He's looking to go back-to-back. He's looking to make this championship run that much easier for him. Just 1 week to go. Here we go, 44 minutes on the clock out of 45. One more turn until we get that white flag lap. Brendan Birch, Joey Rainey. Joey's not going to move. He's not going to make a move to that inside line. Joey Rainey's going to keep it on. He's going to continue to run slipstream draft. But how much slipstream, how much of the draft does he have available here at mountainous altitudes of Mexico City? It's the white flag lap. Final lap to go. 10 more turns, 2.5 miles. Joey Rainey, he's going to look to slingshot his way down and around the outside line. Joey Rainey is going to be a drag race into turns 1, 2, 3. Don't count out Nico Colby. Nico Colby, look down to the inside line. He's going to use the slipstream. He's going to use the draft. It's NASCAR man to the lead. Nico Colby, he's now clear of it. But Joey Rainey, he's now, he was door to door out there with Stone Colby. Stone's going to continue to work his way back up into P3. Now Brendan Birch, just like that, in the flip of a switch, falls back into P4 after leading, coming to the white flag. Nico Colby, careful how far you get out here up in front. 0.5 of a second gap up in front of Nico Colby. Back and behind is Joey Rainey, and then 0.4 of a second for Brendan Birch. Brendan Birch, he is fighting for that final driver interview position. He is fighting throughout these points, throughout these drivers that are running right up there with him within those point standings battles. Brendan Birch now drops back to P4 after Stone Colby slices, dices, works his way cleanly to the inside line. Brendan Birch has to stomp on the brake pedal there to avoid making some contact with Stone Colby's rear bumper. For the final turn tonight, it's been Nico Colby, it's been Joey Rainey. Nico claws his way back to the race lead. Joey, he's going to have one more shot at it. Joey, he looks around that outside line, tries to shortcut it on corner exit. Not close enough. It's Nico Colby back to virtual victory lane. Mexico City belongs to the number 16 vehicle buyer's machine. Joey Rainey's going to finish P2, and across the stripe, it's Stone Colby, Brendan Birch, and Slater Colby rounding out our top 5. What a race, what a season it's been, and now this is going to not quite cap it off here just yet. Only one more to go. Make sure you put it on your calendar. You are not going to want to miss that, as now Nico Colby, this could rocket his way up within 3rd and possibly 2nd in those point standings. Nico Colby goes for a tumble across the line. Woo, I can take a breather. Stick with us here on Stam Studio Network. We're gonna chat with those top 3 driver interviews, as well as take a look at our official race results. Here's a quick look at Nico Colby's pass for the race win over the hard-charging Brendan Birch. Unfortunately, Brendan Birch now just now finishes outside of that final driver interview position. Here it is going into, it's really off the straightaway going into turn number 1. You remember what I said, Nico Colby, what are you doing? The lap right before this. Well, this is exactly what Nico Colby was doing. He was setting up the slingshot into turn number 1, the best turn to make a pass out here in Mexico City. What a race it was. Here's our official race results, and then our top 3 driver interviews. Nico Colby to virtual victory lane. Joey Rainey, Stone Colby, that's 1, 2, 3. Brendan Birch, P4, Slater, Darren, as well as Victor Ling. Joe Rainey falls back to P8 after a nice front-running race out there for Joe tonight. Michael Tenegretta, Diego Valderrama running at the top 10. Jason Holcomb, Thomas Dively, Josh Ferrer, Marvin Samayoa, Daniel Ramirez, and David Ramirez running at the top 16. as I make my way over down in virtual victory lane, I think I've caught up out there with Nico Colby. Hey, Nico, the man of the hour. You got yourself a copy, man.
Yep, got a copy.
Well, Nico, walk us through your race, man. You found yourself at one point down and back in P9, and then next thing you know it, you're crossing the stripe and battles for the race lead. How'd you make it happen, man?
Yeah, it was definitely just a fun race overall. Just lots of drafting, a lot of strategy, just trying to work with the right people, and just ending up getting in the lead and just holding it for a lap. And it was just a fun race overall.
Talk about working with the right people. Is that the people with the same logos on your car? Or you get a little Rainiums racing out there with you as well?
Yeah, there wasn't any like wrong people. Rainy Homes was definitely helping me. I was helping them. And yeah, just a lot of bump drafting.
Golly, man, it's y'all making me run out of air here, Nico, with these races that y'all are putting on here. I mean, goodness gracious, it's a lot of fun to watch, and I so appreciate you guys race after race for continuing to put it on. Nico, what are your thoughts going into the final race 1 week's time? As this should rocket you up. There's those point standings could be a top 3, depending on how things play out.
Just trying to finish as best as I can, trying to get that 3rd position. Just St. Pete is one of my favorites since it came out. It's just a really fun track, and I'm actually pretty good at it, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, Nico, can't wait out there for it. Who you thinking? Who you shouting out tonight?
You, of course, for doing the streams week in, week out. Everyone that helps the league, vehicle buyers, Overstock, Shout Mom, Dad, and everyone that makes it fun when they race.
I appreciate you, Nico. I know that goes long, long ways back behind the scenes out there. Thank you once again, and hopefully we're chatting with you next week's time, man.
Thank you.
All right, I believe I've caught up now with our P2 finisher. It's the one, it's the only, Mr. Joey Rainey. Joey, you got yourself a copy.
What's going on, Sean?
Man, a lot's going on out there, and golly, what battles it was. You and Nico going at it, man, that whole last lap, last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you will. Joey, kind of, what was going through your mind those last couple laps as you're going back and forth out there with Nico and gang?
Yeah, just trying to keep, trying to stay in a good spot to have a good shot at it in the last lap, you know, with the draft being so consequential on this track, right, with these long straights. It's just kind of more about car positioning than anything. Worst place to be is first place on the last lap, as you know, Bert showed us on that white flag lap beginning. So I don't know, just trying to have the car in the right spot and you know, not crash is usually works. But unfortunately didn't get it done today with Nico. I was hoping to set up something in the last corner, but just not enough racetrack before the start finish.
God, you just took my next question out there away from you, because you talk about the battles and as well as the positioning, trying to position yourself up for that finish. What is the best corner that you think was for passing, as well as is there one or two corners you tried to back up to really have a run or anything?
I think the best corner to pass in is the first corner, just because you get a big run down the straight. In fact, you know, Stone was behind me for a while there, and he pulled out and passed me going down the straight. But the straight is so long, I was able to get back behind him and pass again, because you can, you know, that turn one's probably the best place to pass. But yeah, so just have to get a good run out of the last corner, set it up.
Well, Joey, congrats on your P2 finish. It's nice out here seeing you back here at Virtual Racetrack. Is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out here?
Yeah, shout out to myself for finally getting enough work done during the day that I can actually race tonight. That was really awesome. But yeah, no, shout out always to you, Sean, for putting on a great product here, and shout out to the Colbys for putting this on, and to all the people that raced tonight with us.
Hey, we appreciate that, Joey. It goes long, long ways up there. So thank you for getting some work done and able to join us out here tonight. Hopefully, you can join us next week as well, man.
We'll see, hopefully. Have a good one, Sean.
Hey, you too. Thanks, Joey. All right, I'm down here with our P3 finisher. Stone, you got yourself a compliment.
Yes, sir.
Stone, you bring it P3, but you were up, down, and around town tonight, man. Walk us through your night.
Dude, my Mondays and Wednesdays have just been rough lately. But no, I mean, it was good. I was pushing Joey for a while there in the beginning, and then, like you said, I went to pass him down the street because I knew the caution was coming out soon, and he just blew my doors off again, just because the straight's so long. But the draft made it a lot of fun. My dad was hanging up there with us, which was cool. He was having fun, and then it was just more of, I think all the collisions and crashes were in turn 1 and 2 and going into 3. So those were definitely the passing spots, and the more challenging going too wide and figuring out when you wanted to check up and let somebody by. And yeah, it made it interesting.
What goes through your minds if when you start to give a point by not including, I don't think any point buys are given within, final minutes or whatever, but if you do give one by, you're just trying to, I don't know, lose the least amount of time possible, or if you see somebody have a run, are you just going to let them go, or what's kind of the mindset with that huge long straightaway and going into such a dangerous section of corners?
I feel like you just have to be patient. I mean, you
Well
know, you got that straightaway, so many laps in a row, and it's I don't want to wreck my whole race because I tried to challenge somebody down the straight or block somebody, and then I get swiped into the wall, or somebody blows through me going into the first turn, and then my whole race is wrecked. I'd rather just kind of check up, let them by, and then just set up the pass going down the straight the next lap.
That's smart, man. Hey, live to fight another day, live to fight another lap, and in this case, top 3 finish, and as we've seen before there with these Stone, top 2 and even victory lane finish up there. So well said up there for you. We appreciate you taking your time, not only racing with us, but as well as down here in virtual top 3 podium finishers lane. Stone, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out tonight?
You as always for broadcasting, everybody showing up for the races every week, vehicle buyers, overstock vehicles, friends and family for watching.
Stone, that's what it's all about right there. Thank you for putting on the show week after week, and hopefully until next week, man.
Thanks, man.
Alrighties, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it out here for Stam Studio Network. Sean Stam producing, directing, commentating the show. It's Apex MX-5 putting on the show. Thank you for our sponsors, affiliates, and everybody down there in YouTube land. This could not be done without every single one of you. Moonlight Dancer, as well as Logan Sandy, if you guys and gals are still out there hanging around. Terry Stan, Juan Cordova, as well as Mobile Ninja. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Also, thank you for liking, commenting, and sharing this video. Until championship round next week, it's Sean Stam. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your night.